pesos every after our session. And para hindi na kayo mapagod, it's a complete set of materials that you can get from us. Okay, so won't waste time. With no much further ado, I'd like to start the program rolling. Welcome again. And here you have a turn or former USEC, president of HRNBSI, as turn, and then founder of the Movement for Organizational Justice, none other than our good friend, Attorney JBJ. JJ, you have the floor.
Good morning. Please allow me to host so that I can put up my slide, Anju. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Today, this morning, we have a very long topic, 88 laws. And this is supposed to be 4 semesters in the College of Law. But we will do this only in 2.5 hours so that we have 30 minutes of question and answer. This will cover 7 books, and this will also encompass the 4 important functions of HR. Many of the laws will pertain to talent acquisition, but most of the laws will focus on compensation and benefits and organizational justice. There will be 5 laws on training. 5 laws on training. So all in all, we have 88 labor laws, and you can subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, so that you can get other videos. There are many others. So there was a longer version of this seminar for 8 hours with 347 slides. We have 20 laws about recruitment, employment, talent acquisition. We have 40 laws about wages, benefits, and rewards. We have 5 laws on training and learning and development, 20 laws about organizational justice, and 3 laws about dispute settlement. So I will go directly to, there are many books that I have written that can be used by young professionals as well as those who are experienced to correspond to all the laws that I will discuss. So today I will try to mingle labor law and HR. And if you look at the labor code, there are 7 books. Try to look at the labor code. There are 7 books. One is about employment. That is where you recruit people. Book 2 is training. Book 3 is the longest because it involves all the compensation packages, benefits, and all the privileges, including Book 4, which is about health, safety, and welfare. And this is very important nowadays. Book 4, because of our health crisis. Book 5 may not be very important to you, especially if you are not unionized. But Book 6 should be important because this is discipline and dismissal. Book 7 are about procedural and technical matters on dispute settlement. So in brief, briefly, the seven books have their respective titles, no? And book one is relevant to your recruitment function, talent acquisition. Book two is also related to training and development. Three and four is total rewards, compensation and benefits, including SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and including disability benefits, sickness benefits, and death benefits. Book 5 is about unions, collective bargaining, and fair labor practice and strikes. Please put in the chat box if there is any one of you who represents a company with a union. No? If we do not see any manifestation, we will interpret it to mean that all of us are not unionized. Number 6 is useful to all of us because we decide on transferring, promoting, discipline, and dismissal of employees. Book 6 is only 10 articles, but to me, that is the most important part of the labor code because most of the cases filed with the DOLE and with the NLRC comes from Book 6. There are more illegal dismissal cases compared to cases claiming money claims like overtime, 13-month pay, service incentive leave, and many others. So the most, about 70% of our labor disputes come from Book 6. So you, young HR, should find time to read Book 6 because Book 6 is, to me, the most important book in the labor code. Because here, you will try to reconcile rights of employees versus prerogatives of management. And again, the four quadrants of the HR diamond. I am the one who invented the term HR diamond because diamonds are forever. Diamonds are forever from hiring to retiring, from crib to grave, from basket to casket. So you HR, you are relevant from hiring to retiring. So in talent acquisition, in recruitment, you bring in the best talent into the organization. And you must be aware of the cash, the knowledge of the new recruit, his attitude, his level of skills, and his habit. Because nowadays we need people of character, conscientiousness, and not only competence, but commitment. In total rewards, you will manage benefits and salary. In benefits, there are those that are granted by law, statutory. You call them statutory benefits. There are those that are granted by company policy over and above the law. And there are benefits that are individual. You hire a person who is so special, you make him an offer that he cannot refuse. You give him a package that is special to him, which is confidential, that is allowed by law. It does not violate the law on anti-discrimination. It is the prerogative of management to give a certain benefit only to one or two persons, that you do not violate any law. My most important focus with Mr. Freddy Marquez is organizational justice, with emphasis on two pillars: employee discipline and grievance management. Employee discipline is we make sure that the behavior of our people is aligned with the expectation of management. And grievance management is the company listens and resolves the complaints, the issues, the questions being raised by our employees. It is the right of employees to raise question, as long as they do it in a polite manner, and they can also make suggestion. They can propose solutions, and these are all covered by the umbrella term grievance management. Listening to people, solving their problems, answering their questions, resolving conflicts among different individuals, and settling disputes either between management and the employee or among employees themselves. Learning and development is in Book 2 of the Labor Code, and this should be a continuing concern of management. Even during pandemic, we should not stop developing our people. So we will now start with the first set of law 1 to 5. Number 1, each our people should know whether a person is an employee or an agent, whether an employee or a partner. That's why the security guard is not your employee, because he is the employee of the agency. The janitor is not your employee. He is an employee of the janitorial uh, provider, service provider. And when you are engaged in an insurance company, or you are selling beauty products, the purely commission agent, those who are selling your products, they are only agent. They are not employees. You do not require them to work 8 hours. You are only interested in the volume of the sales. They are not your employees. So they have no right to demand 13th month pay or overtime pay, because there is no employer-employee relationship between you and this agent selling, like real estate agent, like insurance underwriter. And there are many people who are selling pre-need plan, pay now, die later. That's the this Pacific plan. Many companies are selling this kind of plan, especially today when there is a lot of mortality among the people. Some people would invest money so that at the time of their departure, their family would don't have to worry for the funeral services and the burial services. These are not employer-employee relationship. And therefore, we have the difference between an employee and an agent. Conflicts on labor-only contracting, you have to read Article 106 to 109 of the Labor Code. And partners are not employees. If you and your friend put up a business and you are partners, You are not an employee of the partnership because you are a partner. So you cannot demand for salary. A partner is not an employee. Corporate officials like presidents of companies appointed by the board of directors, they are employees, but when they have problems with the company, they do not file their cases with DOLE or NLRC. They file their case with the regional trial court because it is called intra-corporate dispute. It is not a labor dispute. Remember that. So, so that you will know the formula of an employee, you use the four-way test. You ask, did I hire you? Did I pay your salary? Did I control your behavior? Control is, I require you to work for 8 hours. I require you to work from home. I monitor your attendance. I subject you to company policy. I issue memo to explain. I discipline you. That is control. And if you violate the rules very seriously, I can dismiss you. And these are all the indicators of employer-employer relationship. I have reduced the four into three. This is JBJ's test. The three C. Contract, meaning the agreement, whether it is oral or in writing, whereby I agree to hire you, you agree to work for me, we have meeting of the minds. That is a contract. Then I pay you monthly salary or daily wage. Then you have to submit to my company policy. You have to submit to my rules. I have the right to discipline and dismiss you. Those are the elements of employer-employer relationship. Why is it important? Because if there is no relationship, there is no basis to ask for salary. The labor code would not apply. If you are not an employee, you cannot join a union. And I cannot discipline you. I cannot discipline you because we do not have a relationship. Paano kita hiwalayan kung hindi naging tayong dalawa? So dapat magkaroon ng relationship para magkaroon ng dismissal. So dismissal will happen only if there is an employer-employee relationship. So if you want to know more about this, you get a copy of this book because all the elements, including the contracts, how to prepare a contract, a probationary employment, regular employment, casual employment, project employment, term, seasonal, all of that is in this book. There is only one book in the whole world that gives you all the documents from hiring to retiring. And that is a book written by a person who has 45 years of experience, not only as uh, an executive of San Miguel, Petron, and Pepsi Cola, and the Elizalde group of companies, but also as government official. So this book has the imprimatur and introduction of the Secretary of Labor and the Chairman of the NLRC. So you can rely on this book, 101 documents. You can copy. There is even a template how to prepare company policy. There's only one HR person in the whole Philippines who diligently prepared a book like this, and this is useful to you. The next law is the law on regular employment. You must know what is a regular position, what is a probationary status, what is a fixed term employment, seasonal and casual. So, to explain that, You have to remember that when you talk of regular, you refer to the position, you do not refer to the person. So do not ask a question, are you already a regular employee? That is a wrong question. And if you are HR, you should be ashamed. What is the right question? You should ask, is your position regular? It is the position that is regular, not the person. The person is permanent. The position is regular. So then you ask, sir, how do we know that the position is regular? It is found in the table of organization approved by the board of directors. If your position does not exist in the table of organization, remember it is a very important document. If your position does not exist there, then your position is not regular. You are not supposed to be hired because you are occupying a position that does not exist. Any position that does not exist in the table of organization is non-existent in the eyes of the law. So be sure of that. Casual positions are not in the TO. Seasonal are not in the TO. Fixed term may be in a TO with a broken line. Contractual, you are not an employee of the company. You are an employee of your agency. So a status is either permanent, temporary, or probationary. If you are hired to a regular position, you do not become permanent immediately. You go through the probationary status. Now, if you are already permanent and you become pregnant, somebody is hired to substitute you during your pregnancy, especially that we have now 105 days of maternity leave, plus 15 days if you are solo parent. 120 days we have to substitute. The substitute is occupying a regular position, but he is temporary. Temporary status, regular position. The tenure is definite. While you, when you come back after your pregnancy, you are occupying a regular position, your status is permanent, and your tenure is indefinite. I hope this is clear to you. I hope this is clear to you because there are many HR people who are using terms without understanding. Maybe, Mr. Chairman, we can come up with a service in HR in BSI where we will accredit or certify HR people as certified HR assistant, certified HR supervisor, certified HR manager. Mr. Chairman, are
Yes,
you
yes,
listening?
yes, yes. I'm taking note
Maybe
of that.
maybe
Taking note of that.
you can assign this to people like Bebe Chavez or Beb Tiangco or
Mhm.
the more experienced people who will prepare the minimum requirements to become an HR assistant. Then we have a ladder rise. I think in PMAP, there is already a template for what are the skills that should be mastered by certain level, every level. Then,
Mhm.
but there is no certification in PMAP, and we do not have a universal term, uh, and also job grade. We must have a job grading system for every HR professional. This is a very good area for services for our organization.
Mhm. Mhm. Sige, sige.
I
Well,
think
point
even
noted yan, noted.
Anjo can do this, no? Anjo can has will become an center for excellence in certification of HR professionals. Nobody is doing this. We have to do this and we have to do quickly because somebody else will do it for us. We lose already the opportunity.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay,
I
noted,
have a lot
noted.
in my mind, but I have no time.
Sige, sige.
The position is HR manager, regular position. Engineering supervisor, regular. Machine operator, regular. Lineman, regular. Status, permanent, temporary, or OIC, because the incumbent is on leave, and then probationary. And then we have tenure, definite, indefinite, indefinite, because you do not know when you will be retired or when you will die or you will be promoted or you will resign. That's why your tenure is indefinite. But if you are a fixed term employee, or like a dean in a college, in a university, you are appointed by the board of trustees for only 3 years. You have a definite tenure. That is definite. No? You have to understand, no? And then you have to differentiate rank and file from supervisory, confidential employees, managerial, executives, and you HR who are attending today, you must master the art and science of job evaluation, giving job grade. It starts with job description, uh, defining the scope of responsibility, and then you assign qualification standards. What are the minimum skills, the minimum knowledge, what is the educational qualification for a position? And this is what I am proposing to you, Mr. Chairman. And I think I suggest that you appoint a committee group of 3 people, or if there is one person who can do it by himself, I don't mind, and give him a timetable so that we will have an output and we have a lot of windows of opportunities, Mr. Chairman.
Mm,
So
noted, noted.
I will focus on organizational justice. You are the overall. You will also supervise the total rewards. You will supervise also this certification system, and that is a very important one. If the group of Jerry Plana is certifying companies, we should be certifying professionals.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay,
And
okay.
we can invite people who are experienced, like uh, Tonet Velasco, who is now with tourism. He was with the Career Executive Service. We can even invite Turok, who is from civil service, no, to be our a resource or consultant. And we can ask Dong Binghai, who was my staff in San Miguel, and I sent him to UP, and he is now a doctor and teaching in Soler. And he is specializing on job evaluation. But you can do this. You are an expert, no? So the only thing is your time, and so you can assign this to specific people. I am really passionate about that, and I look forward to the day when HR practitioners all over the Philippines will line up to be certified by HRMBSI as the Center of Excellence for Professional in HR. Diba okay yan, Mr. Chairman?
Mm. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a very good idea. Let's see whether that can fly. I think it should, no?
Okay, so to you, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know that when a person is born into the world, he is a person, even 1 day old person. He can inherit from his father. If he is born today and his father dies tomorrow, that baby is can inherit. So he has rights. Even the unborn child has a right. No, so once he reaches the age of 15, in the parlance of labor law, he is already a worker. If he is not in school, he should be working at the age of 15. It is allowed by the labor code. If you doubt my statement, you read Article 137 of the labor code. That is the minimum age of employment 15, up 15 up to 18 non-hazardous. Then from 18 upwards, uh, there is no more limit now because of the law against discrimination based on age. Even as 80 years old can apply for a job. No? And then when you get unemployed, you become an employee and you attain the status of regular, you have to know the meaning of casual, project, probationary, and regular. And there is a definition in this book. In this book, there is a definition. Our seminar is only 4 hours. During the question and answer, if you ask that, I will answer that. But if you want a free video, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Yusek JBJ. Now, we go to the law number 11 to 15. Managerial, supervisory, confidential, rank and file, and foreman. Every one of these has a position description. Ang kaibahan lang dito sa itong managerial, they have the prerogatives to make decision of hiring, uh, firing, transferring, promoting, discipline, issuing of policy. Yan ang pag hindi ka, if you are not given the authority to make any of the decision I have mentioned, you are not a manager. Even if your calling card says that you are an HR manager, but you cannot hire, you cannot even transfer, you cannot make decision on discipline. You have to get the permission of somebody else. So you are not a manager because you become a manager not because of your title, but because of the function that you actually perform. Hindi yung function na nilista sa job description mo, pero hindi mo naman piniperform. You must have a final say in transferring people, in promoting people, in increasing salary. Do you have that prerogative? If you do not have that prerogative, then maybe you are a manager who is actually a supervisor because you can only recommend. Supervisors are recommendatory. No, rank and file will just do his work. He cannot recommend, he can only suggest. And his suggestion may not be accepted at all. But the supervisory, his recommendation should be considered by management because he is a supervisor. Confidential employees are those that are vested with highly sensitive information. Handling the payroll, for instance, because compensation is very confidential. The foreman or the team leader are the first line. They do not have supervisory function, but they are the mentors of those that are newly hired, rank and file. So they are the best rank and file, most experienced. They are given the title of team leader, but they do not have supervisory authority. They cannot recommend hiring, they cannot recommend firing, they cannot recommend disciplinary action. They will only teach the skills to the people They will guide the people to follow the policy. Oh, that this is the okay. So the governing principles for this one, law number 16 to 20, we will not take up unless you are a recruiter, because this is the law on illegal recruitment for overseas employment. That is not relevant to our study. So we will skip that. Book 2 of the labor code is about training. And the training there is mostly vocational and technical. So when you think of TISDA, you should think of welding, electrician, bartender, uh, continental cooking. Those are skills that are needed in the global labor market. And there is a law on apprenticeship in the Philippines. You will hire young people who wants to learn the art of electrical technician, repair, machine operator, or welding. No, these are skills. You hire them for 3 months, and their salary is only 75% of the minimum wage, because 25% is the tuition fee that he pays to the company, because there is an classroom instruction to be given to the apprentice. So they are learning and they are earning at the same time. The learners are like apprentice, but the apprentice are for the highly skilled job. The learners are for the not highly skilled jobs. Very simple things like how to prepare the beddings if you want to work in the hotels, no? How to prepare the table for table setting, for banquet in hotels, for some parties. No? Those are learning, can be learned. No? And then there is a law for PWD. The employers are being encouraged to hire persons with disability. They will be given tax credit, tax holidays, tax reduction if they hire at least 5% of their total employees who are blind or deaf mute or paralyzed, but they can do encoding, they can be call center agents, they are intelligent people, but physically disadvantaged. Then the minor workers, if you have workers below 15, that as a rule they should not be working. But in the uh, in the network, broadcast network, there are talents who are young children promoting, for instance, in advertisement or in drama, in telenovelas, there are children, and the law is very strict about this. They have to obtain a special permit from DOLE, and there must be no sacrifice of their schooling. Now, the law is very strict on the protection to minors. Now, on the matter of Book 3, we are now going to Book 3. We will study minimum wage law, holiday pay law, premium pay for holiday. So, iba yung holiday pay sa premium pay for holiday. Because whether you are daily paid or monthly paid and you are not working, you still get 100%. That is holiday pay. But if you are required to work on a holiday, you will be given another 100%, which is holiday premium pay. So iba yung holiday pay sa holiday premium pay. Now, if you have a special day, like the Ninoy Aquino Day, August 21, November 1, All Saints Day, December 31, last day of the year, and December 8, Immaculate Conception. There are now 4 special days. If you are not supposed to work on this special day. But if you are required to work on special day, the employer must pay you higher, 130% instead of just 100%. The rate, but it is not like the holiday, which is double. This is only 1.3. Now, also for the rest day, every week you have a rest day. But if the employer requires you to work on your rest day, 130%. So, very easy. And if you want guide, these are the books that you have to buy. No? You can call the central books, they will deliver to you. You ask your employer to buy this book because all the computations, you don't have to think. All the formula, it is already there. So what is your problem? Huwag na kayong kuha pa ng picture. O, magsabi na lang kayo sa kay kay Miss Willie Yu to send you all these materials. Murang-mura lang ito. Mas mura pa ito sa McDonald's. Kami lang, we are not really making money. We are serving the HR community. Because kung tutuusin, ano bang makuhang revenue dito? But the long-term effect of this, what we are doing is empowering the young HR so that you will carry on our fight for organizational justice. So this is a table that will guide you. And this table says that if your employee is less than 10, you are not duty bound to pay holiday pay. If your employee is 5 and not more than 5, you don't have to pay night shift differential. If your employee is less than 10, you don't have to give them service incentive leave and retirement pay. All the rest, even if you have only one employee, you have to pay all the rest. Like maternity leave, isa lang empleyada mo, nabuntis, sabihin mo ba na, sir, hindi natin bayaran, isa lang naman empleyado natin. No, as long as she is an employee, she is entitled to that. Because maternity leave is a benefit arising from the SSS. So pag membro ka ng SSS, you are a woman and you are pregnant, even if you are not married, you are entitled to maternity leave. Paternity leave, kailangan legally married ka. Violence against women, sinaktan ka ng husband mo or ng lover mo, whether your lover is a male or a female, you will get a leave. Kaya nga unfair sa employer eh. Bakit ang employer ang magbayad kung sinaktan ka ng asawa mo? Wala namang kasalanan ang employer mo. These are the things that I question, but how can I really question a law? It is already a law. And there is no limit ilang beses ka suntukin ng asawa mo sa isang taon. Kung every month susuntukin ka ng asawa mo, every month meron kang 10 days na late. O di 120 days na yon. Kasi wala namang limit na sinabi ng batas na kailangan sa isang taon, isang beses ka lang suntukin. O yan ang problema dyan. And all you need is to go to the barangay captain, get certification. O natatawa kayo ha. Kung merong babae na magsabi...
Kaloka!
Ha? Kung merong babae na magsabi na, darling, ubos na yung leave ko. Gusto ko magbakasyon tayo. Pwede bang suntukin mo ako? At pag nasuntok mo na ako, pupunta ako sa barangay captain, manghingi ako ng certification. Hindi naman kailangan medical certificate. Tapos dadalhin ko yan sa HR. And HR is duty bound to give the 10 days leave. Can you imagine kung ang daming babaeng masasaktan na gagaya dyan? That law, this law is very dangerous to business. Kaya yung mga HR medyo tahimik, hindi masyadong pinapaalam itong law na ito eh. Kasi maraming matatalino na mga tao. Ito pang special leave for women, yung OB-GYN, yung hysterectomy, mastectomy at saka yung ovarectomy. 2 months yan, 60 days yan. At saka gross compensation. Can you imagine mag-hire ka ng female employee and then you do not know na may pre-existing condition pala siya? Hindi siya nagtatapat sa kanyang application. Ang kanyang medical certificate, sinabi ng doktor, medically fit. After 6 months, nagpa-opera ng hysterectomy. Ikaw, magbabayad ka ng 2 months salary, gross compensation, at hindi yan reimbursable ng SSS. Hindi yan reimbursable ng PhilHealth. Bayaran niya ng employer. Di ba ninyo alam yun? Dapat basahin ninyo yan eh. Basahin ninyo yung Magna Carta for Women. Ako nga, may example ako eh. Isang babae nagkaroon ng unintentional abortion sa January. So, entitled siya ng 60 days under the new law. 60 days na siya, January pa lang. Tapos pagbalik niya ay buntis na naman siya. No? Kasi after the abortion, nagstay siya sa bahay ng 60 days, nabuntis siya. Tapos sinaktan siya ng asawa niya, nagkaroon na naman siya ng bawsi. Basta ginawa ko yung story sa kaduluduluhan yan. 1 buwan na lang magtrabaho yung babae sa 1 taon, pagkatapos bayaran pa siya ng 13-month pay, kompleto yung sahod niya. Kung ako, I'm not an anti-woman, but I am just telling you that all these laws, ito yung sinasabi ng mga investors. Why should we invest in the Philippines with this kind of laws? So ito sana is pro-women, pagtulong sa mga women. Pero in the ultimate analysis, ang mga employer dito madi-discourage to hire women. Yan lang ang analysis ko dyan. Maaari kayo mag-express kayo ng opinion nyo. Ilagay nyo sa chat box or magtanong kayo mamaya if we have time. And then, you have to read the labor code because there are rules on the paying of wages. Sa Article 99, nakasulat doon magkano ang dapat mong ibigay. How much? Nasa libro ko yan na HR Form 101. Tapos time, at least twice a month. You cannot have salary only once a month. Bawal yan. Bawal yan. Of course, may mga executive na because they have very high salary, once a month lang sila at hindi naman sila nagre-reklamo. Pero pag merong pilosopo magreklamo, this law applies to all, from executive to the rank and file, even casual employee. And with more reason that the lowly paid employees should be paid na ang gap is every frequency. The frequency is not more than 16 days. Every 15 days, there must be payment. Whether your 15 days is paid on the 5th of the month, and then plus 15, no? Doon na naman sa 20 of the month. But as long as the gap between the two payments should not be longer than 16 days. That is what the law says. Then direct payment, hindi mo pwedeng ang sahod ng husband, hindi po pwedeng ibigay sa asawa. Hindi mo pwedeng ibigay sa anak unless there is a written authority. Yung payment should be in cash. Of course, ngayon ay banking na tayo. Banking na, wala nang problema. Hindi na tayo hindi tayo pwedeng magbayad ng token. Halimbawa, nagtrabaho ka sa casino. Sabihin, hindi ka na babayaran ng cash, token na lang para mag-gamble ka. Bawal yan. No? Ang place of payment should be the place of work. No? And then, in case of bankruptcy, if the company becomes bankrupt, the first priority to be paid are the employees. Second na lang yung government for tax. Yung mga Meralco, mga Maynilad, yung mga utang sa bangko, lower yan in category. Number one priority are the employees. Now, if the money is not enough for all the employees, unahin ang rank and file bago ang mga managerial. The list should be the first, and the last should be the executive. If there is no more money for the executive, sorry na lang. But the lowest paid should be given priority. And when it comes to labor-only contracting, yan, Article 109, the principal employer will assume the liability of the agency that cannot pay. Of course, binayaran mo na yung agency, tinakbo yung pera, hindi binayaran yung mga tao. E di habulin mo yung agency. Kung magkahabol mo, makahabol ka. Kung hindi mo na mahabol, suri ka na lang. No, bawal yan yung mga tokens na yan. Bihira lang yung cheque. Yan, time of payment. No? Interval not exceeding 16 days. At tapos sabihin mo, sir, saan ba nasusulat yan? Nakasulat dyan, Article 103. Tatanungin mo pa ako, saan ba nasusulat yung mga sinasabi mo? Ako, para akong pastor, meron akong versikulo, artikulo 103 nasusulat sa banal na labor code. No? Kaya kayo mga HR, minsan hindi kayo ginagalang ng ibang mga department Bakit? Hindi nyo master ang labor code. Pero pag sinabi mo, sir, according to Article 103, nako, matatakot yan kasi meron kang according. Kaya magsasalita ka, wala kang according. Opinion mo lang yun. Opinion mo lang yun, batang-bata ka pa, meron ka opinion. Hindi ito opinion, sir. Nasusulat ito sa labor code. At ito ang kabilin-bilinan ni Attorney JBJ, dating Labor Undersecretary, yun ang speaker namin. Yan. Idamay nyo yung pangalan ko tsaka yung pangalan ni Mr. Freddy Marquez. No? Pwede rin kayo...
Attorney, naalala ko tuloy, sorry for the interruption, naalala ko yung question kahapon, no? Na paano mo mako-convince yung top management sa mga proposal mo na ganito ganyan. Ito yung answer. Maganda itong sinabi mo ngayon, no? Kasi gaya nga nasabi ko kahapon, for you to be very convincing, you should show them also what you're capable of what you say, no? And so unang-unang dapat asikasuhin ng ating mga HR people is for them to show everybody in the organization that you know. Kaya nga pag-aralan nila ito because the moment you say with conviction na ito, then you'll be recognized. Kasi it's not something that you will just simply, you'll have to earn it, no? Yung respect, yung so maganda itong sinabi mo, and let this be a reminder for people na as young as you are right now, Pag-aralan nyo ng gusto at pagka meron na kayong say, then you get the respect, then you get the clout. So maganda yung
Kaya
sinabi mo.
minsan, tama ka Mr. Chairman, kasi minsan, kaya nawalan ng respeto sa HR kasi tanungin mo yung HR, sabihin, uy, hindi ko alam yan kasi pag tinanong siya tungkol sa compensation, sabihin niya, nasa recruitment ako sir, hindi ko alam yan. Mali yung sagot na yan eh. No?
Yeah.
Para ikaw, ama ka, tinanong ka ng anak mo ng question about geometry. Hindi mo naman alam yon. Huwag mong aminin na hindi mo alam. Sabihin mo, busy lang ako ngayon anak, bukas tanungin mo ako. Then mag-research ka. Kaya ikaw, HR, pag tinanong ka, do not say that you do not know. You say that, I know that sir, but I am very busy. I'm trying to finish a document. I'll get back to you after 2 hours. Sa 2 hours na yan, mag-research ka, magtanong ka, tawagan mo si Mr. Marquez, tawagan mo si JBJ. Ano bang sasagot ko dito? Para hindi mawala yung credibility mo. Do not admit that you do not know. You are supposed to know. Kasi ang tingin nila sa HR, lahat ng tao sa HR matatalino yan. Hindi ka pwedeng ilagay sa HR kung pakaangka-angka or padungker-dungker ka. Kailangan lahat ng HR matatalino na tao. Oh. Paano ngayon? Nasisira yung credibility ng HR. Sabihin ng mga taga-line management, ay wala naman pala binatbat yung HR, tinanong namin, hindi nila alam. Bakit hindi nila alam yan? Trabaho nila yun. Nako, doon nasira. Tapos magtanong pa kayo, sir, bakit kami hindi pinapaniwalaan? Pati yung top management, sasabihin na, HR lang naman yan eh. Nako, yan masakit kaya mga pakinggan yun. No? You have to establish your credibility. Tama yung si Mr. Marquez, nung nag-umpisa kami, nung batang-bata pa kami, ganun din kami. But we never stop learning. Kaya we admire you, kayo, kahit konti lang tayo ngayon, nagtiyaga kayong mag-aral. Because in the future, kayo yung maging JBJ, kayo yung papalit sa akin, kayo yung papalit kay Mr. Marquez. Oh, 'di ba? Kami patay na. Oh, ito yung role pag namatay na yung empleyado. Oh. Yan, may role diyan. Pag namatay ng empleyado, kailangan lahat ng mga anak niya, mga minor de edad, pagawa mo ng affidavit yung asawa kasi yung asawa ang guardian. I-declare nila na sila lang ang heirs para ibigay mo yung buong benepisyo. Kasi mahirap ibigay mo yung benepisyo doon sa asawa, yung pala hindi siya yung tunay na asawa, siya lang pala yung kalib-in. Ang tunay na asawang legal ay later on darating. Paano yan darating ngayon na ibigay mo na yung death benefits, yung mga retirement benefits, lahat? You have to be sure that they will execute an affidavit under oath yan. Na ako legal na asawa at kung merong maghanap na iba, akong mananagot itong pera na hinahawakan ko, sasauli ko sa tunay na asawa pag hindi ako asawa. Ganon. Ilalagay dyan. Otherwise, mapa-double payment ka. Alam mo, Mr. Marquez, meron ako experience sa PNOC Petron. Kasi dati, ang Petron kasi, meron kaming PNOC Shipping and Transport. May sariling barko ang Petron eh. Ang Petrophil patawag niyan eh. Ang barko, kukuha ng krudo doon sa Middle East, dadalhin sa Limay, Bataan, refinery. No. Ang barko naman, from Limay, Bataan, dadalhin yan sa iba-ibang mga isla sa Pilipinas. May sariling barko ang PNOC owned by the government. Ang Petron owned by the government. Alam mo, Mr. Marquez, merong isang barko galing sa Middle East. 17 ang tripulante simula sa kapitan hanggang sa pinakamababang ranggo. Nawala sa Gulf of Aden, ano ba yung Gulf na yan na maraming pirata, no? Alam mo, nawala pati yung barko, nawala yung 17. So according to our policy in PNOC, for 1 year, kasi hindi naman nakita yung mga bangkay, we cannot declare them na dead. So for 1 year, the wives were collecting the salary
Oh.
because we were hoping against hope na buhay pa itong mga ito. After 1 year, tinawag ko na isa-isa yung mga asawa at mga anak ng 17 at hinanda na yung cheque na bayaran. Ang problema, itong kapitan, dalawa ang asawa.
Naku.
Ang kanyang matatanggap ay 12 million. 12 million ha. Kapitan, mataas ang sahod, mahaba ang serbisyo, mataas na yung amount na yan noong panahon na yon. 1983. 1983, wala pa ako sa San Miguel. Nandoon pa ako sa Petron. O di, nag-away ngayon yung dalawang asawa. Nag-away yung dalawang asawa, Mr. Chairman. Sabi ng unang asawa, kasi ang unang asawa residing in Limay, Bataan, may isa silang anak, pinakasalan 1947. Legal, merong marriage contract. Itong pangalawang asawa naman, sa Zamboanga, ay siyam ang anak.
Naku.
Siyam ang anak, mas maganda, bata, parang si Sara Balabagan, no? At siya meron din siyang marriage contract. Meron din siyang marriage contract eh. Gawa sa recto. Madali namang gumawa ng marriage contract sa recto eh. Ngayon, so nagharap ngayon yung dalawa, nag-away. Sabi ng asawa sa Limay, pag binigyan mo yan kahit isang kusing, Attorney Jimenez, ikaw ihahabla kita. Ba't mo ako ihabla? Kasi binigyan mo ng benepisyo yung illegal na asawa, yung illegitimate. Sabi ko sa kanila, huwag ninyo akong takutin ng habla kasi abogado ako. Alam ko ang batas. Ang gagawin ko dito sa checking 12 million, i-deposit ko ito sa court. Bahala kayo maglaban doon sa court. Nagawa na ng company yung kanyang obligasyon. Kayo ay abutin kayo ng 20 years. Tapos kinausap ko yung mga anak. Pinaalis ko yung mga misis, maiinit sila eh. Yung mga anak, binigyan ko sila ng counseling. Isang oras ako nag-counsel, nag-prayer pa kami, nag-holding hands kami, nag-seek kami ng Holy Spirit. No, nagkumanta pa kami ng Come Holy Spirit. Alam mo, sabi ko, I give you 1 week to come back with a compromise agreement. Pag wala kayong compromise agreement, I will deposit this check before the court. Alam mo, Mr. Chairman, after, wala pang 1 week eh, 6 days or 5 days, bumalik, meron na silang compromise agreement.
Alam so sila naghati-hati na.
Oh, you will be surprised. You will be surprised. Ang sabi ng compromise agreement, divide the check into 12. 10 shares sa Zamboanga and 2 shares sa Limay. Asawa at anak. Nagulat ako. Meron mo tag 1 million. Tag 1 million sila. Bawat isa. Pinagawa ko ng 12 check. No? Pero hindi yan ang kuan. Hindi yan ang
batas.
Huling kwento, Mr. Chairman. After na-distribute ko yung 12 million, dumating ang 17, puro buhay. Buhay sila lahat. Ngayon, sabi ng aking boss, si Secretary Jeronimo Velasco, President of Petron and PNOC, Secretary of Minister of Justice yun eh. Sabi niya, Attorney Jimenez, I want to hire these people. They are very loyal to me. I am very close to them. Sabi ko, sir, how can I hire these people? They are already dead. In the SSS records, they have been declared dead. They have gotten their death benefits already. Sabi niya, I don't care how you do it as long as you will hire him. So sabi ko, okay, I will ask them to get another SSS number kasi patay na kayo eh. Nung una yung SSS, patay na kayo. Ngayon, bubuhayin ko kayo, kumuha kayo ng bagong SSS, pero papipirmahin ko kayo ng contract. Pinapirma ko, Mr. Chairman. Ano ang kalagay? You are not allowed to die again. Bakit? Nakatanggap na kayo ng death benefits. Paano kayo mamatay ulit? You can, sabi ni Agent 007, you only live twice. One for your dream and one
Medyo,
for yourself, di ba?
may
But you
James Bond
only
ka pa.
die. You only die once. You can be born again, but you cannot die again. Yan. Biro mo, Mr. Chairman, pagbalik ng kapitan, meron na naman siyang pangatlong asawa. At
Oh,
no, nagkita kami sa Singapore about 10 years ago. Buhay pa rin yung kapitan, no? Pero meron na naman siyang asawa. Grabe yung kapitan na yun. Kaya so, yan ang kwento ko sa inyo na pwede niyong madaanan yan, no?
ayan ang sinasabi natin dito sa mga batang ito, no? Alam mo sa HR, madami kayong haharapin ng mga very very unique cases. So as early as now, I think meron diyang batas, meron mga what is legal. But most of the time, I think yung diskarte nyo ang talagang kasi iba-ibang situation. I have
Bira
so
lang.
many stories to tell also, pero talagang diyan mo magagamit kung ano ba talaga ang mga diskarte natin diyan.
Kailangan magaling kang dumiskarte kasi pag tanong ka ng tanong sa boss mo, sabihin na, oh, we hired you. You should know that. Kaya tama
Mm.
itong mga nag-attend ngayon kasi they want to be ahead of their competitor.
Yeah. At saka
Kayo
yung mga
na,
attending the things like this, and you learn from iba-ibang mga sama madami kang mapupulot, no.
hindi niyo
Min-
mababayaran yan kasi pag kayo bumili lang libro at saka hindi kayo nakikinig sa explanation, hindi rin kaagad na maintindihan eh. So, yung mga bawal na deduction at what is allowed deduction, ito lang ang allowed deduction. Ha? Yung pag any deduction, halimbawa, nagbigay kayo ng protective equipment, tapos i-deduct nyo, nagbigay kayo ng uniform. Uniform should be shouldered by the employer. Pero kung manghingi pa ng, sir, mahirap yung dalawang set lang uniform ko, mahirapan ako, manghingi pa ako ng dalawa pa. Ayun, pwede nang i-charge pero huwag salary deduction. Kasi pag nakita yan ng inspector na may salary deduction based on uniform, kakasuhan na naman kayo ng illegal deduction yan. Gumawa kayo ng paraan, magkooperatiba kayo. Sabihin nyo, oy, merong cooperative dito, silang nagninegosyo ng uniform, doon kayo bumili. Kung mangutang kayo sa kanila, bahala kayo. But I will not make a bono so that it will be deducted from your salary. Kasi mag-ingat tayo sa mga deduction, mainit ang mata ng dole sa mga deduction. Yan ang sabihin ko sa inyo, no? Dito na tayo sa law number 31 hanggang 35. Ito na yung mga benepisyo, ha. At isa-isahin ko ito kasi wala tayong mga panahon ito. Meron lang akong mga pinapakita ditong mga ruling, no? Sa law on overtime. Any work beyond 8 hours, you call that overtime. And that is only 25%. 25% for normal day. Pero pag rest day, pag holiday, mas taas ang rate ng overtime. Ang ibig sabihin ng overtime, nakapag-render na kayo ng 8 hours. Kung nagtrabaho kayo sa rest day ninyo o sa holiday o sa special day, 8 hours lang ginawa nyo, huwag nyo tawagin nyo na overtime. Lalo na kung taga-HR kayo, mali na term yun. Dapat, a work for 8 hours during your rest day is not an overtime. It is rest day work with a premium of 30% for the first 8 hours. Para pa mag-exceed kayo ng 8 hours, doon pa ang overtime. Pero mas malaki yung base, ang patong mas mataas ang rate. No? Ang service charges ngayon, hindi na hinahati ng 85%, 15%. Amended na yung batas. The entire 100% should be given to the waiters, those in the kitchen, in charge in the restaurant and hotels, service charges, the entire amount should be given to the employees, nothing to the management. And when you say employees, do not include the managerial and the supervisory, only the rank and file. The tips are different because the tips are given by the customer direct to the waiter. Pero the service charge is included in the bill, no? In the amount that is charged to the customer. Okay? Oh, very clear. Then service incentive leave is only 5 days. Maternity leave is 105, and if you are solo parent, add another 15. So 120. If you want to rest more, you add 30 days without pay, 150 days. Then under the law, you can have a pasa leave to your husband, 7 days. Pwede mong itapon yan sa asawa mo. Out of the 105 days, kumuha ka ng 7 days, bigay mo sa asawa mo. Tanong mo dyan, sir, paano ko yung asawa ko na sa ibang company? Mag-usap yung HR mo at ang HR ng asawa mo, paano nila i-implement yun. Pero yan, hindi na babayaran ng HR ng asawa mo. Kasi bayad ka na. In advance na ng company sa iyo yan at ni-reimburse ng SSS. Ang ibibigay na lamang ng HR ng asawa mo ay yung libre siya ng 7 days na hindi siya magtrabaho. Pero ang bayad ka na. Yung bayad sa asawa mong 7 days na included na doon sa 105 days na ibinayad sa iyo. Huwag ka namang dumoble-doble ng bayad kasi double pay na yun. Ang maternity leave, napakaluwag. Pero ang paternity leave, sobrang higpit. You must present marriage contract. You must advance notice to the HR. Kailan manganak ang asawa mo? Kita mo yan? 7 days lang yan. No? And that is 7 calendar days. Ang solo parents leave ay iba yan because you are a man or a woman. If you are a solo father or solo mother, your wife died or your wife left you or you had annulment or your wife is in prison for at least 1 year or she is mentally incapacitated, entitled ka ng solo parents leave na 7 working days. Iba yung paternity leave, 7 calendar days. Ang bawsi, I told you already, 10 days. At ang biktima dito, babae lang. Pag ang lalaki, binugbog ka ng asawa mo, magdusa ka. Pero pag ang wife ang binugbog ng husband niya, may 10 days siyang leave. At ang physical, ang violence dito, not only physical, emotional, psychological, even economic violence. There's such thing as economic violence. Hindi ka binigyan ng pera ng asawa mo, tapos magkakaroon ka ng 10 days na leave because you were subjected to economic violence. Can you imagine? Magna Carta, I already explained this. This is OB-GYN, this is hysterectomy, mastectomy, ovarectomy, yung D&C, no? D&C. 13-month pay, one thing I have to tell you, only rank and file employees are entitled to 13-month pay. Managers are not entitled, but if you have been enjoying this for many years, that cannot be withdrawn. Ang pagbigay sa mga manager ng 13-month pay ay isang pagkakamali. At yung pagkakamali na yan ay hindi na pwedeng itama kasi nagiging company practice na. And it becomes a violation of the principle of non-diminution. Separation pay, there are three kinds. For retrenchment, when the company is losing, like during a pandemic, instead of 100 employees, you can afford only 20, 80 will go. You must have a criteria. How did you choose the 80? Not necessarily last in, first out. It may be based on performance appraisal. It may be based on health conditions or a combination of all these criteria. Performance appraisal, 50%. Health condition, 20%. Administrative discipline record, 20%. And all this plus 10% overall impact to the company. And total, you give grade to everybody. And the lowest 80 will have to go, and they have to be paid separation pay of 1/2 month for every year of service. Any fraction of at least 6 months shall be considered 1 year. And it should be paid immediately. Bakit ba ang HR ang tagal mag-process ng last pay? Mahirap ba yung i-process? Certificate of employment, ayaw i-release. You only have 30 days to do that. At the latest. Pero kailangan the employee must obtain clearance. Clearance of all money and property accountability. Kung binigyan niya ng cellphone, isauli ang cellphone. Kung binigyan ng laptop, isauli ang laptop. Kung ang mga documents ay dinadala, isauli ang documents. I-inventaryo lahat so that yung mag-replace sa kanya will know saan na nakalagay yung mga tuan file, yung mga payroll, yung mga dokumento, topsy-turvy, very disorderly. There must be a very systematic and orderly arrangement of the documents, and that document should be properly turned over to the next person who will take over the job. Or separation pay based on redundancy. If the company is not suffering from losses, but you are installing labor-saving devices, like, for instance, robotics or artificial intelligence, or computerization, mechanized, you buy a machine, high speed. Instead of 20 people, you need only 5. So you have to have a criteria how to choose the 15. And the separation pay here is higher. 1 month instead of 1/2 month for every year of service, because you are not losing. And the last kind of separation pay is separation pay in lieu of reinstatement. Kung hinabla kayo ng empleyado ninyo ng illegal dismissal na nalo siya, dapat i-reinstate siya, pero ayaw mo na siyang i-reinstate, ayaw na rin niyang bumalik, or his position has been abolished. Instead of bringing him back, you just pay 1 month for every year of service. Full back wages, give him all the salary and the benefits that he failed to receive because you dismiss him illegally. Kung dinismiss mo siya na 2015, 5 years nagpending ang kaso, 5 years na sahod ibigay mo sa kanya, plus 6% interest. Can you imagine that? May 6% interest. Yan, ang law number 45. Merong interest na 6%. Merong desisyon ng Supreme Court yan. Dario Nacar versus Gallery Friends. Memorize ko yan. I am teaching in the College of Law. So, lahat ng mga applicable cases, nasa fingertips ko yan. Hindi ako nagyayabang, pero I can teach labor law even if half of my body is sleeping. Because I have been doing that since 1977 until today. It's already 43 years. It's the same labor code. It's still the same old story. That's why I am now engaged by Congress to revise the labor code. I have been entrusted with the task of rewriting the labor code. And that is my legacy to you, young people. The labor code will be revised. Na ito, pauna ko ng mga sinulat na libro. Mag-aral ka ng libro, yung recruitment, libro tungkol sa sahod, benepisyo, employees compensation in case na madisgrasya, mamatay, death benefits, nandyan lahat sa red book na yan. Ang yellow book naman, ang mga forms. Yung mga forms, kailangan talaga ninyo yan. Whether you like it or not, you need that. That is the solution looking for the problem. Then, moral damages. If you subject an employee to harassment, embarrassment, nilagay pa sa dyaryo yung mukha, notice of termination, hiniya pa, nabasa ng lahat, nilagay pa doon sa malapit, katabi sa obituary, akala ng mga kasama niya, patay na siya. You will pay moral damages because the employee suffers mental anguish, serious anxiety, wounded feelings, and sleepless nights. Yan ang wording ng batas eh. When you are embarrassed, you suffer social humiliation. Yung mga superior ninyo na naninigaw sa harap ng mga tao, hiniya ka, professional ka, umiyak ka, umuwi ka sa bahay, hindi ka makatulog, hindi ka makakain, parang hiniwalayan ka ng boyfriend mo. Masakit, nakakahiya. That is moral damages. And to set an example against to the others not to do the same, lagyan pa ng exemplary damages yan. Tapos attorney's fees, 10%. Lahat ng matatanggap mo, 5 years back wages plus 6% interest. Moral damages, 1 million. Exemplary damages, 1 million. Total all of them. And 10% attorney's fees, it will be given to you, not to the attorney. It's up to you if you give it to the attorney. But the attorney's fees will be given to the employee, not to the lawyer. No? Kung pinapapirma ka ng quitclaim na pinilit ka lang, kaya nga mag-ingat kayo dyan sa pagpapapirma ng quitclaim kasi dapat yan may mga witness, tapos pipicturan mo, tapos nakangiti siya habang pinirmahan yung quitclaim. Kasi kung patago, tapos may pressure, mag-file ng kaso yan. Kahit may compromise agreement, binawasan mo yung sahod, diminution, file ng kaso yan, talo ka. Yan, diniscuss ko na kanina, ano ba yung allowable deduction? Yung mga payment of wages, ano yung mga bawal? Na-discuss na yan kanina. Tapos yung pag-file ng money claims, madali lang mag-file. Punta ka lang sa DOLE kung ang claim mo ay less than 5,000. Pero pag sumampa na sa 5,000, sa NLRC ka na, sa Quezon City, Quezon Boulevard. Doon ka mag-file sa labor arbiter. Walang money claims, walang filing fee. Pag complainant ka, nakahanda na yung complaint, pipirmahan mo lang, checkan mo. Mabilis. Madali mag-file ng complaint dito. And if you are afraid to file a complaint, magtawag ka lang, mag-text ka sa DOLE, they will inspect. Yan ang mga inspection, ang complaint inspection yan, number 58. Mag-inspect yung DOLE, interviewin lahat ng tao, tingnan yung mga dokumento, o doon mabubunyag ang mga pagkukulang ng management. No? Yan. Ngayon, sa Book 4, pag ikaw nagkasakit at ang sakit mo ay listed as compensable. Compensable ang sakit mo eh. Your disease is one of the occupational diseases listed in Annex A. Annex A to the ARAC, Amended Rules on Employees Compensation. Nasa book 4 ng labor code yan. Pag ang sakit mo nakalista at namatay ka, wala ng duty ang husband or wife to prove anything because listed yung, kaya importante yung death certificate eh. Kasi ilagay doon cause of death. And matitrace yung cause of death is driven by the fumes, the emissions, the pollutions in the office. Pero pag hindi listed ang disease mo, your wife or your husband, who is the surviving spouse, will have to hire a doctor to testify in court, to testify before the SSS and the ACC that the nature of the work and the nature of the disease, there is a cause and effect relationship. So mahirap patunayan pag wala sa listahan yung disease mo eh. Pero pag accident and you are on official mission, na-ambush ka while you are on official mission, o di bayad ka. Sino magbabayad? It's not the employer. It is the state insurance fund under the custody of the SSS. Kasi every month, naghuhulog na ang employer mo sa employees' compensation. Before the labor code, ang magbabayad ang employer. Pero upon the promulgation of labor code, including Book 4, as amended by Presidential Decree 626, ang magbabayad niyan ay ang gobyerno na, ang state insurance fund. Pero pag nag-commit ka ng crime, halimbawa, binaril mo ang kapitbahay mo, hindi natamaan, tapos binalikan ka, sinaksak ka, namatay ka, asawa mo, walang matatanggap. Bakit? Ikaw nag-umpisa ng gulo eh. Or if you committed suicide, a self-inflicted injury or death cannot be paid. No? Di pareho sa insurance, magpa-insured ka, after 2 years, nag-lapse na yung contestability period. After 2 years, kahit magpakamatay ka pa sa harap ng opisina ng insurance company, babayaran ka pa rin. Kasi lumampas na yung contestability clause eh. Pero dito, sa state insurance fund, ay hindi ka babayaran pag ikaw may kasalanan. Patay ka na nga, may kasalanan ka pa eh. No? Yan. Ito example ito yung mga sakit na babayaran ng pag namatay ka sa mga sakit na ito. O sige, picturean ninyo. Pero sabi ni Mr. Marquez, huwag na ngayon mag-picture dahil ibibigay sa inyo ito. Kunti lang bayad. Handling fee lang. Tapos mag-picture-picture pa kayo. So, piliin ninyo yung sakit na pag diyan kayo namatay, merong matatanggap yung asawa niyo. Ito rin, ambush while you are on official mission. Yan. Mga kinagat ng aso habang nagtatrabaho. O di merong bayad yun. No? Going to the office. When you are going to the office or coming home, on the way, na-disgrasya ka, hindi yan sagot. But pag nasa premises ka na, nasa malapit ka na, nasa parking area, doon ka na disgrasya eh. Or proximity. Or kahit malayo ka, but you are on a special errand to do something for your employer, okay yan. Or when you are taking the transportation, and the transportation is provided by your company, sagot yan, hindi ng company, but by the insurance, the state insurance fund. Kita mo, pinakita ko na sa inyo. Pero ito, when you have the willful intention to injure yourself or to injure another, but you were you were the one who was killed. Hindi makatanggap yan. Yan. Bawat part ng iyong kamay at katawan, merong value yan. Halimbawa, one arm. Kita nyo, one arm. 50 months. Yung sahod mo for 50 months, bibigay sa iyo. Merong ibang tao gustong magkapera, puputulin yung daliri. Index finger. Wag lang yung tamar kasi tamar, paano ka pa pipirma pag wala ka ng tamar? Merong value eh. Pinakamataas na value yung arm at saka yung hearing of both ears. Pero pag abogado ka, nawalan ka na ng hearing, di wala ka ng kwenta kasi wala ka ng hearing. May abogado bang walang hearing? Kailangan abogado may hearing palagi. Everyday may hearing. Hearing sa korte, hearing sa
Okay.
Yan. May value yan eh. Bawat part ng katawan mo may value. Tingnan mo dyan, alin ba ang pinakamahalagang daliri? Ang pinakamahalagang daliri, yung palang index finger, 8 months yun. 8 months. Yung ring finger, 5 months lang. No? Yung middle finger, yun ang pinakamakasalanan na finger. Yun na 6 months lang. 6 months lang ang middle finger. So, sino makatanggap? Ito. Legitimate or legitimated or adopted child. Alam niyo yan, number 1 ang children eh, pangalawa lang asawa eh. Ano ba yung legitimated? Kasi alam ninyo yung legitimate, alam din ninyo yung adopted. Ang tanong niyan, ano ba yung legitimated? Halimbawa, si A at si B, binata't dalaga, nagkaligawan, tapos inanakan ni A si B. Ilagay na lang natin si Samuel B, nanakan niya si Bia Alonso. Pareho naman sila dalaga at binata eh. Tapos hindi ipinakasalan ni Samuel B kasi ang gusto niya si Piolo Pascual. Si Piolo Pascual ang magpakasal kay Bia. Yan ang ibig kong sabihin. Ngayon, later on, nagbago ang isip ni Samuel B. Pinakasalan niya ngayon si Bia. Yung bata na dati illegitimate, nagiging legitimated. So when a child who was illegitimate at the time of the birth and his parents decide to marry each other and they are both single, naging legitimated yung bata. Mahirap ba intindihin yun? And they have, that child has equal right with the legitimate. The legitimated, the legitimate, at saka the legally adopted, they have equal right. Ngayon, yung A and B, they will share. Pero kung ang parents buhay pa at wholly dependent also doon sa namatay, ay meron ding share siya eh. Yung parents eh, wholly dependent eh. Wala siyang ibang source eh. Yan. Secondary beneficiary ang parents, no? Pati yung mga descendants, apo. Pag wala kang asawa, wala kang anak, pero may apo ka, pwede rin yung apo mo to inherit from you, to get the benefits. Now, titingnan nga natin na Willie sa chat box, meron bang nagsasabi na ang kanilang company ay unionized?
Wala naman sir, wala pa po.
Ibig sabihin, walang union yan. Ipapakita ko na lang sa kanila, hindi ko na ipapaliwanag yan. Yung mga, sino ba ang may karapatang mag-union? Yan.
Okay po.
Stagsin. Pati mga iglesia pwede mag-union. bawal sa kanilang relihiyon pero hindi bawal sa batas. Oh, kita mo? Ang hindi lang pwede mag-union yung high-level government employees. Pareho nung mga executive ng PhilHealth, hindi pwede mag-union yun. Yung mga empleyado ng kooperatiba kahapon, maraming kooperatiba kahapon, yung Panelco, Pangasinan Electric Cooperative, ang dami nila. Dapat, Mr. Chairman, sinabi mo sana, libre kayo ha, pero libre kayo basta meron kayong isang kukuning seminar na magbayad kayo. Yung parang buy one, take one. Pero maganda na rin yun para makita nila yun. Makita nila, marami, maganda. Pwede na silang mag-join ng movement natin. Okay?
Yeah.
Yan.
Oo.
Confidential employees. Hindi pwedeng mag-union. Confidential employees. Yung mga empleyado ng mga international organization like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, yung mga nasa Los Baños, yung International Rice Research Institute, yan mga yan, hindi yan pwedeng mag-union. Bawal yan. No? Nandoon yan sa libro ko, yung The Law and Jurisprudence on Unions, Collective Bargaining, Unfair Labor Practice, and Strikes. Yan. So, dito na tayo ngayon sa Book 6. Itong pinaka-importante, yung Book 6. Kasi nandito yung batas tungkol sa mga pagtanggal ng tao. Dito na yan sa libro na yan. How to terminate employment legally with honor and dignity. Can you imagine that? With honor and dignity. At saka kung ikaw naman ang biktima, gamitin mo rin itong libro na ito. Itong pula para sa mga biktima ng illegal dismissal. Yung blue para sa management, yung mga magtatanggal. Yung manananggal at saka yung tinatanggal, meron silang libro. Kita mo, binigyan ko na ng libro yung dalawang side. Bibigyan ko pa ng libro yung labor arbiter. No? At ito yung batas. Kayong mga nakikinig sa akin ngayon, mga HR, dapat memoryahin ninyo yung Article 297 kasi nandito lahat ng grounds for termination eh. At saka yung due process, huwag yung notice to explain. Mali nga yung notice to explain eh. Sabi ng Supreme Court, many times already the Supreme Court is exasperated. The term is exasperated. Para bang naiinis na ang Supreme Court? Bakit? Mali-mali pa rin ang HR. Bakit ang ini-issue ninyong memo ay notice to explain? Samantala yung batas na susulat dating 277 paragraph B, ngayon 282 na. Ano na susulat? Number 1, notice specifying the charge. Hindi notice to explain. Kung dagdagan ninyo ng order to explain yung number 1, okay lang. Pero ang title ng dokumento, parang awa na ninyo, nagsumsuma muna ako sa inyo, baguhin ninyo yung title. Huwag yung NTE. Notice, written notice specifying the charge. You are hereby charged with unauthorized pilferage of company property. That is a charge. Committed as follows. Lagyan mo 7 W's. Ano yung 7 W's? Who was involved? Sino yung inaakusahan mo ng pagdala ng mga property without authority? Pangalawang W, when did it happen? Pangatlo, where did it happen? Pang-apat, how did it happen? May W din sa huli. Pang-lima, how much is the cost? No? And then, pang-anim is who Meron pa palang what. What was the charge? Yan ang number 1 na W. What? Number 2 is who. Number 3 is when. Number 4 is where. Number 5 is how. Number 6 is how much. And number 7 is witness. 7W yun eh. Ilagay mo yan sa notice of specific charge. Then, lagyan mo na ng you are hereby ordered to explain. Pero huwag mong lagyan ng title, notice to explain. The main objective of that document is to charge a person. Kasi pag sinabi mong explain, pero wala kang charge, sagutin ka ng isang pilosopo. Anong i-explain ko? Wala ka namang charge. Tingnan mo. Anong charge mo? You charge me first before I will explain. And then when I explain, you schedule me to administrative investigation. Yung number 2. I have the right to be heard. And to be heard, 2 things. So I submit the written explanation, and 2, I answer your questions during the administrative investigation. And number 3, you issue the written decision. Oh. Iba naman yung retrenchment, redundancy. Medyo process din yan. Di ba? So ano-ano ang mga kasalanan? Simple lang. Number 1, serious misconduct. Number 2, insubordination. Number 3, ganod. Ano yung ganod? Gross and habitual neglect of duty. Ganod. Yung fraud or breach of trust. Meron pang isa dyan, LOTAC. Ano yung LOTAC? LOTAC. Loss of trust and confidence. No, yan. Crime against the person of the employer. Sinampal mo yung manager mo or sinuntok mo yung supervisor mo. Duly authorized representative of the employer yan. And other related offenses. Yan. Example of serious misconduct. Yan. Basahin ninyo. Company, fighting inside company premises. Reporting to work under the influence of liquor, under the influence of drugs. Gambling, horseplay, sex-related, yung LSR. Love, sex, and romance inside the workplace. Immorality, cyber crimes, nagpo-post sa Facebook ng paninira sa management, libel, defamation, nagpapakalat ng mga rumor na naninira ng puri ng tao, gross disrespect to customer and third party, disrespect to executives, managers. Kita mo, daming kasalanan. Insubordination, ayaw sumunod ng order ng superior. Sinabi na ikaw mag-overtime ka sa rest day mo. O magtrabaho ka sa rest day mo, 8 hours plus overtime. Bigyan ka ng memo because we have extraordinary volume of work na inform. Ayaw dumating. Walang reason. Oh, insubordination yan. Ayaw lumipat, nilipat from one department to another, from one shifting to another. Ayaw mag-submit ng report when ordered to do so. Insubordination yan. Negligence, habitual tardiness. Huwag na niyo akong tanungin, Sir, ilang beses ba mag-absent para namin matanggal? Idi isulat niyo sa policy niyo because the labor code does not decide for you. You decide for yourself. If there are positions that are very important, higpitan ninyo. Operating room nurse, nalilate, hindi matuloy yung operasyon dahil wala yung tao na mahawak ng mga equipment. Yan. Yan ay huwag na yung padamihin yung absent. Pero pag yung mga dispensable position, maaari yung 3 or 5 times bago ninyo parusahan. Iba yung tardiness sa absenteeism. At ibigay nyo. Sa San Miguel nga, consecutive absences of 7 days. that is already gross and habitual neglect of duty. No? Lalo na kung if your negligence result to damage or to death or deterioration of goods or volumes bumaba, quality. No? Ito mabigat. Submitting fake documents. Sinabing single, yung para married. Sinabing college graduate, gawa pala yung diploma, gawa sa recto. Stealing company property. Stealing the property of a fellow employees. Cheating in the submission of time cards. Revealing trade secrets. Unauthorized copying of documents, unauthorized bringing home of records, destroying or altering documents, sa pag-submit ng liquidation report, ina-alter yung mga official receipts, stealing property. Kita mo? Challenging superior to a fight, grave threats, maligning the reputation of superiors, defaming the good name of the company, filing of baseless harassment suits, spilling na yun. Sabotage of company properties. Mag-join kayo ng mga terrorist organization, makakasuhan kayo ng anti-terror law. And pwede kayong ikulong ng 24 days without charge. Pwede kayong arestuhin without warrant. Ito yung sinasabi kong 7W. Yung incident report or yung notice of specific charge, ilagay nyo yan. 7W. Gawa ni JBJ yan. Alam mo, ako talaga, marami akong ginawa na mga formula, mga system, na ina-adapt na ng iba. Hindi na nila ina-acknowledge ako ang creator niyan. Pero it's okay lang. Kasi alam naman ni Lord kung sino ang gumawa niyan eh. Bahala na si Lord sa kanila. Hindi na nila ako ina-acknowledge, okay lang. So, sa labor procedures, isa lang ang pakita ko sa inyo. Tanungin niyo ako, sir, saan ba natin isasampa ang kaso? Itong green. Ang green will apply only if you have a union. Pag meron kayong union, idadaan talaga yan sa grievance machinery. Hindi mo pwedeng dalhin sa dole yan eh. Madidismiss yung kaso mo because there is a preference for voluntary modes. So dito ka dumaan sa green. Tapos from grievance, huwag mong dalhin sa NLRC, dalhin mo sa voluntary arbitrator, in CMB yan. Tapos, pag natalo ka sa arbitrator, arbitrator ako. I have decided a lot of cases already. And alam mo, Mr. Chairman, yung kaso na dinesisyonan ko, yung sa Security Bank, kaso yun ng wage distortion eh. Naalala mo yun? Merong
Yes, naalala ko yan.
Yung abogado ng St. Luke's, yun din ang abogado ng Security Bank eh. Tapos dinesisyonan ko yun pabor sa mga union eh. Kasi yung tinaasan nila yung hiring rate. So yung mga datihan na mga 10 years na sa bangko, nahabol nung mga bagong hire. So yung rate ng bagong hire, almost the same na doon sa hire na mga 10 years. So there is a complaint for wage distortion and I adopted the formula. Although I modified yung formula na sinubmit ng union. At ngayon, under appeal. In-appeal yung desisyon ko eh. Nasa Supreme Court.
Wala pang desisyon?
Desisyon. Kasi nanalo na ang union sa Court of Appeals eh. Ang Court of Appeals sinasabi doon, tama itong ginawa ni arbitrator JBJ. So nagpunta ngayon ang management sa Supreme Court, no? So pag lumabas 'yon, magkaroon na tayo ng official talagang pronouncement ng Supreme Court how to solve wage distortion issue. Kasi the
Penned
labor
by
code,
penned by at
ha?
penned by former USEC Attorney JBJ, who
Marami
acted
na
as a
akong
voluntary.
na-desisyonan na gano'n eh. Pareho nung desisyon namin ni ito si Noli Payos. Si Noli Payos at saka yung isang abogado na taga-ECOP ay ako yung inappoint representing the union. Nagtataka ako kung bakit ako inappoint representing the union. Then si Bagabaldo, yung the older Bagabaldo, do you know him? Si attorney
Yes,
Bagabaldo,
Hmm.
yung ama, hindi yung anak. The father Bagabaldo was appointed to represent management. I represented ako pala, I represented the union. And then, Noli Payos represented government. Tripartite yun eh. So, ang issue doon sa isang drug company, ano nga yung drug company na kalaban ng AstraZeneca, yung meron silang produkto na yung isang drug company, nandoon si Lito eh. Sino ba yung HR na Lito ang pangalan na sikat?
Yeah. Ano ba yung Glaxo?
Siya ang HR doon. Siya ang
Glaxo.
HR doon.
Lito de Guzman, Glaxo yan.
Glaxo, ang pangalan, Mr. Chairman, ay Glaxo Welcome, no? Glaxo Welcome. Tapos ang kalaban la AstraZeneca. Meron silang policy, Mr. Chairman, na pag ikaw binata kang midrep at nag-asawa ka ng midrep ng kalaban na kumpanya, one of you has to resign kasi competitive product eh. So, kaming tatlo, binayaran kami tag 75,000 bawat isa. Mataas magbayad ang drug company. Tapos ito si Noli at saka si Bagabaldo, mga tamad, sabi niya, JJ, ikaw nang sumulat ng desisyon. So ako ngayon ako yung ponente, ako yung nagsulat. Sila, nag-concur lang sila eh. Ang ginawa lang nila, we concur. Tapos kaming tatlo, pareho lang bayad namin, 75,000. Pero ganitong issue. Ang issue, itong isang salesman na dating seminarian, hinire ng Glaxo, and pinapirma siya ng undertaking na pag ikaw mag-asawa ka, binata ka, at ang pinili mo, yung kalaban, ikaw or yung wife mo dapat mag-resign para hindi mag-conflict. Di ba? Ngayon, nangyari yan, Mr. Sherman, nangyari na yung pangalan is si Pedro Tecson. Naalala ko pa Pedro Tecson. Si Pedro Tecson ay nag-asawa. Ang asawa niya, si Betsy na taga AstraZeneca. Pareho silang inassign doon sa Region 5, sa Legazpi at saka sa Naga. Pareho ang teritoryo nila eh. Doon sila nagkakaligawan. Ngayon, dahil nga magkalaban, may competitive product eh. So, tinawag ngayon si Pedro Tecson, sabi, you have to resign or your wife has to resign. But since you are a good salesman and you are the number one in sales volume, we will not ask you to resign. We will transfer you to Surigao, Caraga area. So, we will waive ng kumpanya kasi nasayangan sila. Ang galing na salesman. Pero sabi ni Pedro Tecson, pero mo bago akong kasal tapos iwanan ko si Betsy sa Bicol Tapes, ako doon sa Surigao. So sabi ng Union, mabait sana yung si Pedro, gusto niyang sumunod. Sabi ng Union, huwag kang pumayag, ilaban natin. So kami nagdesisyon. So ang desisyon ko, Mr. Chairman, I affirm and I upheld the power of management to to transfer him as a prerogative of management. And it is willful disobedience or insubordination on the part of Texon not to obey. Yun ang decision ko eh. First, the policy is valid. Kasi ina-attack nila yung validity ng policy kasi daw pinagbawalang mag-asawa. Sabi namin sa desisyon ko, hindi naman bawal mag-asawa eh. You can get married but you have to face the consequences. Yun ang sinabi ko. So, in-affirm kami ng Court of Appeals, then Supreme Court, si Justice Dante Tinga ang nang sumulat ng desisyon. Tuwang-tuwa si Payos at saka si Bagabaldo, ako ang gumawa lahat na yun. Marami pa akong desisyon na ginawa. Pareho nung bago kong desisyon. Bago lang, Mr. Chairman, sa itong hotel na dating Hotel Nico, Japanese yan dati nagiging Thailand, di ba? Ano nang pangalan yung Hotel Nico? Dati Manila Garden Hotel yan eh. Di ba, Mr. Chairman?
Nico, di ba Dusit? Dusit?
Dusit na ngayon. Merong isang kuan dyan, empleyado na union president. Siya ang union president ha. Tapos, nakakatawa itong kaso na ito eh. Ako naman ang arbitrator. Sole lang ako. Wala akong katandim. Ako lang ang nag-decision. Iwan ko bakit pinili ako ng dalawang panig. Bayad sila tag 75,000, 150,000. Within 1 week, dinesisyonan ko, Mr. Chairman. Ang issue, very simple. Itong in charge sa concierge, na sila in charge ng mga baggage, yung mga iniiwan doon sa lobby. No. It happens that he was the union president. Ngayon, isang araw, merong isang German na nakakita ng Pilipinang maganda sa lobby, nagkakahulugan sila ng loob. At ang German paalis na, nag-iwan ng chocolate na mamahalin na chocolate doon sa concierge. So iniwan niya, my girlfriend will pick this up within 24 hours. So tinanggap ng union president kasi duty niya yan eh. Then umabot na ng 48 hours, wala pang girlfriend na kumuha, Mr. Chairman. So nasa policy kasi ng hotel na pag mga foods, yan mag-i-invite yan ng mga daga, mga rodents. So they have, ang sabi ng policy nila, that food should be disposed of. Hindi sinabi daw kainin mo yung chocolate. Sinabi lang na should be disposed of. Alam mo itong union president, sabi niya, ano bang meaning ng dispose of? Itapon na ito. Sayang naman to. Kinain niya ngayon. Nakita siya sa CCTV. Kinain niya yung chocolate. After ng 72 hours, dumating yung girlfriend. Nanap niya yung chocolate. So, hindi na niya makita. Wala na chocolate eh. Gusto niyang ibili ng ibang chocolate. Wala na. Kinasuhan na siya eh. Tapos, tinanggal siya. Alam mo, Mr. Chairman, tinanggal siya. His first offense after 22 years in service.
Wow. Yeah.
Pinag-initan siya eh. Talagang pinag-initan siya kasi ang paniniwala ng abogado ng hotel, matigas ang law firm nila eh. Hindi ko pa manggitin kasi mga active din sa PMAP eh. So, inadvisean sila na talagang dismissal ang penalty dyan. So ako ngayon arbitrator, alam mo, if you have seen the movie yung kuan, may movie si Tom Hanks na sinabi niya na life is like a box of chocolate. You never get to know what's inside it. Something like that. Yun ang first line ko sa decision ko eh. That life is like a box of chocolate. And the story of this person, after 22 years of service without the regulatory record, will lose his job only because of a box of chocolate. The value is less than 1,000 pesos. Alam mo yan, Mr. Chairman? Galit na galit ang management sa akin eh. Dahil dinesisyonan ko yan, pina-reinstate ko yan, Mr. Chairman. Kaya ako, Ako, hindi lang ako pang management pang balance talaga ako Kasi hindi ko maintindihan paano mo tanggalin ang tao may 22 years on service na walang derogatory record dahil lang sa box of chocolate. So ngayon, alam mo ngayon, he is now under payroll reinstatement.
So hindi nila
Apat na taon na. Ayaw nilang ibalik
hindi
Apat
nila
na taon
binabalik.
na tumatanggap ng sahod na hindi nagtatrabaho kasi payroll reinstatement. Yan ang masaya at saka pwede siya magtrabaho sa iba. Hindi naman bawal yun Magtrabaho ka sa iba even if you are receiving. And while my decision is now pending with the Supreme Court, maguguluhan sila kung ano bang gagawin natin dito. Importante ba yung value? Ang sabi kasi ng abogado, sikat na abogado na no matter what is the value.
It's not the value.
Basta pag nanakaw. Yan ang nangyari sa St. Luke's yung nurse na nag-uwi ng mga supplies na pag nagnanakaw ka, kahit anong value, tanggal ka talaga. So ako, at least, for 4 years now, natulungan ko yung tao, sila ay tumatanggap pa rin ng sahod, kahit wala na. So, ito na, katapusan na ito sa aking presentation na ibigay ko sa inyo yung 88 na batas and we have almost 1 hour for question and answer.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, sige. So, thank you. Willie or Anjo, can you help in moderating the questions?
Sir, meron pong question dito si Ram. Teka na po, sir. Hello, Attorney JBJ. What would be considered as illegal preventive suspension?
Ang preventive suspension ay maging illegal pag sumobra ng 30 days. At saka hindi mo yan ma-apply kung ang mga kasalanan ay ordinary. Hindi yung magagamit mo lang yung preventive suspension if there is grave danger to the life of the employer or the property of the employer. Pero kung absenteeism, kung kasalanan niya gross negligence, hindi mo pwedeng sampahan ng preventive suspension kasi walang danger to the life or property. Kaya magiging illegal yung preventive suspension mo. Kasi hindi angkop. Kaya lang pinipreventive suspension mo, hindi mo pa siya na found guilty, suspended na kaagad kasi matatakot ka na ulitin niya ang offense or itago niya yung mga ebidensya or takutin niya yung mga witnesses. Yun lang, illegal talaga pag gumamit ka ng preventive suspension na walang danger sa life or property of the employer.
Okay. Another, sir, from Ms. Pratsy. Hello, sir. If an employee is not attending admin hearing after repeated notification, can we still separate her?
You know, this is the lady that could not understand Tagalog. I should have been warned because, I always have the tendency to talk in Tagalog. And I'm sorry, Ms. Praxi, if you did not understand some of my words. But this is a moral lesson for all of us, Ms. Willie. You should warn me if there are some people who could not understand my English because my English is Bisaya, hazardous to my health, my English.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In answer to the question of Ms. Praxi, those who are not attending the admin hearing, they are waiving their right to be heard. We should always understand, Ms. Praxi, that job process is a right in favor of the employee. But the employee is not compelled to avail of that right. In other words, why are we conducting an admin hearing? Because we want to hear him. But if he does not want to be heard, he is waiving his right, so we will write him We have scheduled you for admin hearing on the following dates. Despite due notice, you did not attend. So you are waiving your right to be heard. We will now proceed to decide your case based on the evidence available on our record. So most probably he will be found guilty because he did not submit a counter evidence. We will be deciding the case mainly on the basis of our own evidence. Okay? So
Got it, sir.
don't worry about people who do not want to who do not want to participate in due process because they are the ones it is their loss, not ours.
Got it, sir. I have another question, if I may ask.
Yes,
This
yes,
is
ma'am.
on fixed term contract employees. Can the term of the contract be extended, or at the end of the contract, can those employees be absorbed in the company?
Yes. A fixed term is for certain kinds of operation. For instance, you have a client and you are not sure whether this client will last for a long time. So you start a fixed term of 1 year or 6 months. Then after 1 year, the client decided to stay with you. And so you need this employee to service the client. So you are now elevating the status of the fixed term into a regular position. That is allowed by law. There is no prohibition. In fact, that is favorable to the worker, to the employee.
Okay. And is there a minimum time period for the fixed term contract?
You know, fixed term, when you engage in fixed term, it's like a contract with a specific period that is project employee. It's like a project employee. You have a predetermined beginning and a predetermined end. The law does not set a limit. But if you
Okay.
keep on repeating and repeating a person, for instance, 10 times, and it is the same work, and then the law will look at that as a way of circumventing the law, that you are chopping a regular position into fixed term when in fact it's not really fixed term. So, but if it is an honest to goodness fixed term, the law does not set a deadline or a limit how many times. If you have different client, this person will service this client one fixed contract. Okay, then another client comes along. He is the one also who is most suited to handle it. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You know, Miss Praxi, if you have problem, you get my number. You can see the number on the screen.
Yes,
Uh,
I can.
I will allow you to call me because I want to help you. No, if
Thank you
you
so much, sir. Sure.
okay. I appreciate you always coming to our seminar.
Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Another, sir, for project-based employees in construction company, once the project is finished, how long must be the interval before we rehire them?
Alam mo, there is a specific department order for construction company. There is, once a project is finished, do you know what you should do? You should report to the DOLE. There is a form for that. When you start a project and you end a project, there are protocols for reporting, and you have to do that. Then, what is the gap? Even on the next day, he finishes his project today, and that is legitimate project. Tomorrow, there's another project. You can do that. There is no law that says you have to wait for 6 months before you can engage him for another project. But then again, I warn you, there is a case, DM Consonhe. Estelito Harin Garden, something like that. Estelito versus, you can Google that, Estelito versus DM Consonhe. He was hired for 37 projects, the same job, carpenter. And when he asked for retirement, he was rejected because he said, you are only project. Pero in the eyes of the law, because he was doing the same job, he is now regular because of the series of project where in totality is doing the same job, practically for the same client. You know this
Nahawa daw po.
Estelito Hamen. I remember now. Estelito Hamen versus DM Consonhe. Do you know, Mr. Chairman, na ang DM Consonhe, yun ang nag-construct ng palace ni Sultan Bolkiah sa doon sa Brunei, Darussalam. At ito si Estelito Hamen, 3 beses pinadala doon para gumawa nung palasyo na yan. And aside from that, there were more than 30 projects in the Philippines. And his job was the same. And so ang sabi ng Supreme Court, hindi na ito project kasi he is really needed on a regular basis. And the series of projects became already regular because his job is necessary and desirable on a continuing basis by the construction company. Alam nyo, alam ko kung sino nagtanong yan because we have a construction company among our participants. Alam mo, Miss Willie, if you have, alam ko you are very busy, Miss Willie. Maybe you need ito si Kaloy at saka si Christian kung maka-assist sa'yo. When we have a seminar, dapat meron tayo, Mr. Chairman, na profile of participants. Yung bang one day before the seminar, mabigyan ako ng, we have 5 from construction, we have 10 from hotel, we have 12 from education. Ganon, di ba? Maganda yon.
Yes, sir. Para natin po yung profile.
Oh, maganda yon. That is a scientific approach kasi para naman ma-customize ko naman yung aking mga cases na ipipresent na congruent at responsive sa needs ng mga tao, di ba?
Okay po.
Alam mo, nakita ko kanina may construction company.
Yes po, LB Ledesma Construction Incorporated po.
Yeah, mayaman yan. Ledesma yan. Yung mayayaman yan sa Negros eh.
Para English.
Sir, yun na lang po yung question po.
Wala na ang question.
Yes po.
So at least, nagampanan natin. Akala ko kasi hindi matatapos pero alam nyo, meron talaga akong hinanda na slides kagabi na almost 400 slides na for a longer seminar for 8 hours. I have a lot of cases, lot of illustrations, and I tried to cut this off commensurate with the time because I always want to have more time for question and answer.
Meron natang JJ, meron natang question to be asked verbally by Mr. Ledesma, construction.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Ledesma.
Hello po, sir. Sir, I'm a female. I am the HR head of LV Ledesma Construction.
Yes.
But unfortunately, sir, they hired me even without I did have any experience po kasi sa HR. So ngayon talaga, sir, nangangapa talaga ako. And
at least pag nangangapa ka, manghingi ka ng tulong sa mga matatanda tulad sa amin ni Mr. Marquez.
Oo nga po, sir. And I would like to thank Miss Weedy for allowing me to join kahit na hindi pa po ako nakakabayad kasi po may problema ang site ng BPI. So I'm very, very happy and blessed po to let me join the seminar. And I would like to ask po, I am from Davao City, sir. Actually,
Ma-
I'm from Isabela po talaga by origin. But I'm working here and currently residing in Davao City. And previously, OFW din
kamao
po
ka
ako,
mo
sir.
Bisaya.
Kamao na po, sir. Kabalo na po.
So
Sagot na po.
you are now based in Davao.
Yes, sir. After almost 5 years working outside the country in UAE, I just came back last November po, 2019, before the COVID-19
Di
happened.
mag-join ka sa PMAP Davao chapter.
Yes, sir. We are member po. Member po kami ng PMAP Davao. Sir,
Sige,
may question
kasi
po sana ako. Oo.
after COVID, I will go to Davao for a seminar sa PMAP doon. Magkita na lang tayo doon sa
Yes, sir.
Apo
Yes,
View
sir.
Hotel.
Yes, sir. I will definitely join that seminar po. Sir, meron na po akong question regarding sa mga employment kinds of employment dito kasi medyo hindi talaga maayos nung inassume ko yung position. And when I check the 201 file of the employees, I'm talking about the construction workers. Marami po doon na may mga wala pong contract, ganun. Tapos hindi po na-renew yung mga kontrata since they are hard project based, but kailangan po after one project ma-renew po yung contract. So please correct me, sir, if may mga mistake ako nagawa. So ang ginawa po namin, sir, in the process of rehiring, yun, talagang na-state na doon yung mga project nila, and I'm having hard time ngayon kasi bago po sa kanila ito because no one did this before, and they are all thinking that their employment is continuous. Ang ano ko po, sir, is paano ko pwede ko po i-casual ang mga empleyado na hindi na inassign namin sa isang branch namin like motor pool. Hindi naman po siya project pero skilled workers po siya, and time comes kapag may mag-open na project, pwede po namin silang i-transfer doon. So can you enlighten me how to do it, sir? Kung paano po?
Okay, first of all, let me ask you, how did you report them to the SSS? Are they reported as regular employees?
I think they did not report as a regular employees before, sir.
Oh, because if
As
you
a
have done that
probationary.
already, you cannot turn that around. In other words, you cannot change what has been reported. If the moment the time you entered the
Okay.
company, there was already an official submission to a government institution or agency stating that these employees are regular, then you are bound by that. If you make a change now, then they will complain, and it will be very difficult for you to turn around that changing. Oh, you try to read that. Can you read that in the screen? Oh,
Unemployment arrangement whereby, yes.
whereby the employment has been fixed for a specific project or undertaking whose completion has been determined at the time of the engagement. So, the first time when they were engaged, they were already told, no, they were already told. And if they are not needed on a continuing basis, but only on a seasonal basis, seasonal is different because this is something to do with the agricultural companies in Mindanao or in Negros. There is a harvesting season, there is a planting season, there is a milling season. So their job is limited to that particular season. So I hope that I'm not really doing a hard sell about my book, but if you want to be further enlightened about the different kinds of employment, you can just have a copy of HR Form 101. There is a branch of Central Books in Davao. You can go there and get a copy, and you say that I will avail of the author's discount of Attorney Jimenez. And if they do not believe, you call my number and you will get a discount. I am trying to help you get a copy because we do not have enough time to answer all the questions. But if you have a copy of this book, all your questions will be answered.
Meron
Thank
pa.
you, sir. Yes, I will po.
Okay.
Sir, last question from Raymond po ng ng Alorica. Compliant po ba compliant ba Sir Raymond, pwede po bang kayo na lang po ang magtanong po?
Okay.
Attorney GBG, I just kasi I've seen jurisprudence wherein it states that we can do non-regularization at the end of the 6th month of a probationary employee. Because currently what we're doing right now is we do the non-regularization between the 120th and the 150th. So medyo may nakita lang po akong reference na sabi po ng
maniwala dyan sa mga reference na yan kasi the Supreme Court is very clear that when you allow a probationary period to exceed 6 months, in the eyes of the law, it has automatically transformed into a permanent status from probationary. So if you want to read the case of Mariwasa versus Bueser, that is a case where the 6-month period was extended, but upon the request of the employee. When you want to extend the 6-month period, let the employee be the one to request and say that I have been evaluated and I was found inadequate in some areas. And so I am asking for a second chance, another 6 months. That is allowed by law. That is, but never do an order not to regularize after 6 months. In fact, yesterday I suggested if it is a very important position, you evaluate 3 times: end of 1st month, end of 3rd month, and end of 5th month. And in the 3 evaluation, he must pass at least 2 out of 3. And at the 5th month pa lang, without waiting for the 6th month, if there is really no chance for him to pass, then go ahead and make a decision to terminate the services prior to the expiration of 6 months.
Attorney, so it's okay to do the non-regularization exactly at the 6th month or 180th day of the probationary.
1 day before 6 months, but
Delikado.
you are playing with fire.
Delikado yun. Ram, alam mo ganito kasi, no? I think the 6 months is there, and that's, we believe, enough time for one to decide. So, if you're going to do that on a day before the 6th month, medyo delikado na, no? Because of some statistical requirement, baka mamaya lumagpas, technicality will tell you that 1 day after 6 months. In fact, ang nire-recommend ko nga sa karamihan, no? Yung bang count the actual number of days of 6 months. Wag yung, kasi minsan there is 31 days, there's 30 days, 29 days, or 28 days. Delikado if you just do it. Kaya nga, mapapansin mo, recommendation ni Attorney JJ is 1, 3, 5, you appraise, no? That's enough time for you to decide, and don't play with fire. Medyo dangerous na papaabutin ng last, And I think that the wisdom of doing 1, 3, and 5 is because of the law itself, no? That or yung conditionality of terminating services even during probationary, no? Because, for instance, kailangan dyan maliwanag din that an employee knows exactly the standards. The recommendation nga ni JJ is lagyan nyo even during the probationary contract, samahan nyo ng document that says these are the standards, no? But if you do an appraisal in 1 month, dun sa after the first appraisal, you are reinforcing ano ba yung standard, kasi you're gonna say bagsak ka sa first month, no? So here is what you have to do, no? And then the third month, if you are reappraised again, reinforce the fact that you know the standard, you're given a chance to perform in accordance with the standard, you still were not able to improve, no? And so you're given again another appraisal and pwede kang sabihan na, okay, we will, because bagsak ka, we will appraise you again on the 5th month, no? So now you're complying with the third condition. Alam mo yung standard, binigyan ka ng chance to go against the standard. After, then on the third appraisal, the company can show, kita nyo na how fair the company is. Binigyan ka na ng lahat in spite of the fact that you're unable, in spite of the fact that you know everything, you're given a chance, bagsak ka pa rin, tanggal ka na. No? So, I mean, nobody can question the company's decision for terminating the services of an employee because of non-performance or substandard performance against the standard. Yun yung wisdom ng mga suggestions namin, no? Follow it and wala kang sabit when you do it. Kasi kadalasan dyan, you can still be questioned on the last day you just do one appraisal, no? On the last day or 1 day before the 6th month, okay, you apply the law on probationary that you're doing it. Pagka ginawan ka ng accusation that we don't know the standard, ganito ganyan, and then all of a sudden just a day before sisibakin, my services will be terminated. I think it's not a clear deal that you can terminate the services of an employee because of performance. So iba na yung recommendation na bigyan mo ng napakitaan natin, let's show the Department of Labor that we have been very fair, and that's what we usually subscribe for our group, to treat employees fairly. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, Sir Freddy. Thank you po. Thank you din, Attorney JVJ.
Ay, okay lang.
So yun na lang po, yun po yung mga questions na lang po.
Okay, so with this, of course, on behalf of Attorney JJ, magpapaalam na kami. But before we do that, please allow me again. Some of you, now there are just a few of us here, but some of you sa last minute have enrolled and have become members of the OJ, or the Movement for Organizational Justice. And I think you're in the right path, because what we're doing like right now, I guess this is an advocacy that we have, and we really want even everybody, those who are engaged in managing people, that somehow they would all be knowledgeable and enlightened with the laws, and your continuous attendance in all of these short courses will do a lot for you, and that's why if you are a member of the Movement for OJ, Organizational Justice, the help desk and these short courses that our very knowledgeable and highly esteemed former USEC is doing for us is something that will enhance your learning. Not only that, if you still have questions on this, in spite of the fact that he's doing these lectures easily, like what we're doing, we have at least 30 minutes to an hour question and answer, because lecture is one side, but asking specific questions that are in tune to your own basic problems will really give you the answers, as slugging out like what you always say, we are a group, or we are the solutions really looking for problems. The problems come from you, we'll give you the solutions. So on behalf of the team, led by Attorney JJ, and then of course we have Anjo and Willinda on the other side, as well as the other staff, Amy, Kaloy, and Christian. We would like to thank you. No? Finally, before we go, can we ask you to join us in prayer, because just a couple of hours ago, I have received news that one of our beloved director of HR Team Asia and HRM BSI, Mr. Gus San Miguel, has just passed away. I've not gotten the final yung no medical report or what. He died of a heart attack in the hospital yesterday. So can we offer silently a prayer for one of our beloved director? So may the soul of our faithful beloved Mr. Gus San Miguel rest in peace. Amen. So maraming salamat po, no? Am I still be heard?
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat to everybody, and see you for the next series of the 88 modular series that we have given you. Salamat ulit.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
nasaan ngayon ang labi ni Gas?
Well, he expired in Antipolo Hospital last night, no? Wala nga yung pamilya doon because nga of the patakaran, yung COVID patakaran, no? Na nobody stays, blah blah blah. So, i-cremate ata within today, no? No particular ano yet, no? I still have to get the details from them. While we were having the webinar series kanina, I got the report. So, very sad. So I'm sorry to end this with a sad note, but well, this really happened. So we just request for some prayers for one of our colleagues. And once again, on behalf of the team of HR Management and Business Solution, as well as our sister partner company, HR Team Asia, thank you very much. And huwag kayong huminto ng pagsubaybay sa ating mga webinar series. Thank you.
Saka Mr. Chairman, sana sa sunod dapat may picture taking kasi we are documenting all our seminars eh.
Yeah. Oy, Willie, remember, sige, tama nga yun. Before we end. Teka muna, ilan pa ba?
Meron pang 18 eh.
Oh, sige, why don't we, Willie, pwede pa nating habol. Sorry na lang dun sa tatlong nawala, no? Can everybody, hindi unmute, ano bang tawag doon? Open your video images and let's have a picture taking. Count na lang kayo dyan. Ready na ba?
Wait lang sir, yung iba nagbubukas pa po ng video.
Nandiyan pala si Juan eh. Si
on.
Miss Gibara. So, okay natin.
Hello, Attorney JJ.
Joy! Nandiyan ba si Joy?
Yo.
Hi, Joy. Hi, Joy. How are you?
Okay, Guevara pa rin.
Tahimik na tahimik ka eh. Wala kang tanong eh.
Picture.
Okay, picture.
Picture.
Okay. 1, ready, smile.
Okay.
Another one.
Another one.
1, 2, 3. Smile.
Sige.
Okay.
I-post mo sa post mo sa...
Yes sir, marami po ako naipon.
Okay. Sige. Thank you. So,
Thank you
Kiran.
po.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good lunch.
See you again
Thanks,
September
Sir Freddy. Thanks,
Sige,
Attorney.
bye-bye.
Salamat. Thank you.
Or, Ram, if you're still around, I'll wait for my call. Tawagin kita.
Will do, sir.
Hmm.
Oop.